1500 प्रीलोडेड गानों वाला कीपैड फोन धमाकेदार साउंड के साथ कारवा मोबाइल.
Hi, this is Utkarsh Patel, and I've been telling you stories from the world of mythology and epics. Epics have a number of stories which are lesser known or lesser told. Some of these characters have also not been dealt in details. Today I will tell you about one such lesser known character, and that is Shabari. Shabari is a lesser known character from the epic Ramayan. The episode of Shabari in the epic Ramayan has been a well-known story of devotion and often cited as an example of gods craving for nothing but devotion, irrespective of caste or gender. Much has been written and shown when it comes to Shabari. An elaborate version is found in the Indian Vaishnav literature of the 17th and 18th century. Many verses have been devoted by writers to highlight devotion of saints, and one such detailed episode was written by one Priyadas somewhere around 1712. According to this version, a young Shabari leaves her people when she learns that her marriage would result in the slaughter of many innocent animals for her wedding feast. She decides to leave her folks and seek shelter in the ashram of sage Matanga. While Shabari desires to serve the sages, she keeps herself away from them as she was conscious of a low birth. She would silently work all night by removing pebbles and thorns from the paths that led to the lake, and often deposit bundles of firewood outside the huts of the sages at night. In the morning, the sages would wonder who was doing such favors to them. One night, under the instruction of the sage, the thief who was stealing the merits of the sages was caught and brought to the sage. A terrified Shabari was at the feet of the sage, but the sage was moved by the devotion of Shabari. Sage Matang instructed his disciples that she might be a low-born, but none can equal in her devotion, and that she would stay in the ashram. This, however, didn't go down well with many of the sages, as they saw it as an insult to them. When the sage was about to leave the world, he instructed Shabari to stay back in the ashram and wait for Lord Ram. Distraught at the death of her guru, Shabari had nothing to look forward to except the arrival of Ram. One night, while she was cleaning, she accidentally touched an ascetic who was on his way for his morning ablutions. This angered the ascetic, and he berated Shabari before heading for the lake. Shabari fled to her hut in fear, but when the ascetic reached the lake, the clear water of the lake had turned red and was infested with vermins. The ascetic concluded that this was the result of his contact with Shabari. Shabari, meanwhile, would collect fruits, especially the jujube fruits or the bear in the local parlance, in anticipation of Ram's arrival. One day, when she finally learns that he was coming, she hides herself in her hut, aware of her low-born status. But that day, Ram came looking for her, asking one and all, where was that fortunate woman? On seeing Ram, she prostrated in front of him and served him all the fruits that she had kept for him, not before tasting each one of them, before giving only the sweet ones to Ram. In the meanwhile, the sages were upset about the polluted lake and sought a solution from Ram. They were surprised that Ram should visit Shabari on entering the ashram and not any of the sages. Ram goes on to suggest that they touch Shabari's feet and take her to the lake and dip her feet into the waters of the lake, and the water would become pure again. While the Shabari episode in common, the faith entrusted by sage Matang in Shabari, and the episode of the lake makes the story bring out a very important symbolism. Shabari, who is pure from inside, is outwardly impure, due to her caste of course, is put in direct contrast with the sages who are outwardly pure but defiled with arrogance from inside. It is their arrogance which led to the lake getting polluted, and nothing less than honoring Shabari would lead to the removal of such pollution. Here is an interesting story which transcends caste barriers in Ramayan. This and similar stories, I'll have more of these. Come back again next time. Thank you.
तेरी उंगली थाम के तेरी दुनिया में चलूं, मेरे रंग तू ना रंगे तो तेरे रंग में मैं ढलूं। मुझे कुछ मत दे, बस रख ले मेरा नजराना बिन शर्तों के। हाँ तुझसे मेरा याराना। मुझे महरम महरम महरम, मुझे महरम जान ले। मुझे महरम महरम महरम, मुझे महरम जान ले। मेरी आँखों में तेरी सूरत पहचान ले। मुझे महरम महरम महरम, मुझे महरम जान ले। तेरे हिस्से का नीला आसमां होगा ना कभी बादल में छुपा। तुझ पे आँच ना कोई आएगी, तकलीफें कभी छू ना पाएंगी। मुझे ये वादा है जीते जी पूरा कर जाना बिन शर्तों के। हाँ तुझसे मेरा याराना। मुझे महरम महरम महरम, मुझे महरम जान ले। मुझे महरम महरम महरम, मुझे महरम जान ले। तेरी उंगली थाम के तेरी दुनिया में चलूं, मेरे रंग तू ना रंगे तो तेरे रंग में मैं ढलूं। मुझे कुछ मत दे, बस रख ले मैं